Good morning to the young ladies of Year 7 and Year 8. On the Tuesday of next week, the 29th of June, we will be having a whole school open air outdoor mass. We aim to do this every other year, but of course last year there was a problem. So we're aiming to do it again next week, and we're actually quite looking forward to it. And there's been a notable amount of planning that's gone into it. Excuse me. As it says here at Bishop Challoner, we aim to have a whole school outdoor mass every 2 years. Now, if you're not familiar with attending mass, the next few slides are for you. And if you are, the next few slides are still for you. Mass breaks down into 3 parts, also known as 3 liturgies. The first one is the liturgy of the word, and that's when we sit and listen to the readings. The second one is the liturgy of the Eucharist, and that's when the bread and wine becomes the body and blood of Christ. And the third one is Holy Communion, when those who have made their first Holy Communion can come up and receive communion. But everybody is welcome to come up for a blessing if they wish to do so. While some people will be reading, singing, being altar servers, or bringing up things at the offertory during Mass, we all take part. We act with dignity and reverence, and we behave in an appropriate and adult manner at every Mass. During the Mass, the Bishop, that's whose picture it is down the bottom, the Bishop will be saying Mass for us, and he will turn bread and wine into the body and blood of Jesus, just as we heard in assembly 2 weeks ago. This solemn act requires us all to be the best versions of ourselves. Our Mass, as it says here, will be said by Bishop Hudson here on the bottom right. Mass starts with everybody remembering that they are sinners and need God's grace, and prayers of penance are said. This will be followed by a prayer called the Gloria, where we give praise to God. And don't worry, you'll have the words. And then we sit and listen to the readings. When the Gospel is read, we will all stand up. And after that, the Bishop will do his homily, where he explains the readings to us. The Mass next Tuesday is on the feast of St. Peter and Paul, 2 of Jesus' closest followers. St. Peter was actually his closest friend. Various gifts will be brought up to the altar during the offertory, including the gifts of bread and wine, which will become the body and blood of Christ. Then, during the liturgy of the Eucharist, during this solemn time, we will be standing. If we were in church, we would be kneeling. And during Holy Communion, each of us moves from our seat to keep things running smoothly. So if you're not going up, you still come out of your seat and just walk round to keep things running smoothly. We have a choice of receiving communion if we have already made our Holy Communion in a Catholic church, receiving a blessing, or simply returning to our seats. After some final words, the Bishop and the other clergy will leave. Mass will be over, and then we will return to our classrooms. So, what does this mean for you? The important thing to know is you will be guided to your seat. When you come down for the Mass, we need to make sure that ties are done up, skirts are unrolled, and that we look the best version of ourselves. Next Tuesday, you will need to bring in a packed lunch. There will be no kitchens next Tuesday. You will bring in a packed lunch, which you will have in your classroom before you come down for the Mass. The Mass starts at 1:30. If it's a very warm day, you might want to bring some sun cream. If you're worried about water during Mass, those that were at the Mass a couple of years ago remember this one because it was a very hot day, but you will be given a bottle of water, so you won't have to worry about that. You might, if you want to bring a hat, but again, you don't have to. But please bring a hat. Don't improvise like this guy here, okay? There will be first aid stations, so if anything goes a little bit awry, then you'll be okay. Holy Communion. If you have made your first Holy Communion in a Catholic church, then you can receive communion. And when you receive communion, you consume it promptly. Don't walk away with it, which some people do accidentally. Don't walk away with it. Consume it straight away. Okay? And singing. Are we all going to sing in our best voices? No, it's not allowed, I'm afraid. So we won't be able to do that. When you are brought down to the Mugger, which is where the Mass will be, you will be guided to your seat. And there's a seating plan somewhat like this, and it will show you where you have to sit. You will be guided by a member of staff. You'll also be guided by a member of staff for when you come out to communion. We've had 2 of these open air masses before, and our students have never let us down. And it's not going to happen again this time, we know. And the following day, people will be saying they enjoyed the Mass, because that's what happened last time. And I'm sure we'll enjoy it again this time. So that's what's going on Tuesday week, ladies. So looking forward to seeing you there.